But I was going to just record this and then upload it for Red Eye Raw. But this is one of the biggest changes that I made since starting the channel, right? And I made this change forever ago. But I don't think I've done a video specifically talking about this subject. So that's what I'm doing today. So, what do I mean by the both sides argument? Well, there's plenty of people who will say, oh, I don't like extremism on either side. Both sides are equally bad, that kind of thing. Well, I'll acknowledge that there are extremism on both sides. It's nowhere near equal. And I hate it when people pretend that it is. Because the vast majority of people on the right just want to be left alone. You know, obviously there's some outliers and things like that, and there's positions I disagree with some people on the right? But it's nowhere near the same. That's why when people say, like, oh, anti-SJWs are just as bad as SJWs, they're just objectively wrong. Because anti-SJWs just don't want their favorite shows and things getting ruined, whereas SJWs will get you fired. They will hunt you down, they'll dox your house, they'll try to get you arrested just for disagreeing with them. Those are not the same thing. And don't worry, I'm not vaping, this is a pipe, I ain't no fag. But with that argument, a lot of people believe in something called Horseshoe Theory, which I think is just bullshit. What's up, Vintage? How you doing? And I just don't stand by those things anymore. Evie, what are you doing? Don't go starting trouble now. Good, glad to hear it. Don't you go starting trouble, Evie. Sorry, talking to the dog. But yeah, a lot of people believe in that whole idea of, like, horseshoe theory. You go far enough one way, you'll end up the other way, which I just think is complete nonsense. Like, both sides are very different, especially now in the current dichotomy. People on the right just want to be left alone, and people on the left want to tell you what to think. And that's the problem I have, and that's why I don't like to pretend that they're the same, or that they're equally bad, because that's just retarded. Again, I'm not going to pretend there's not extremism. I mean, the Crusades were pretty extreme. But that was centuries ago. I didn't like the moral panic, with, violent video games, or I don't like obscenity laws and things like that, and there's people on the right who are in favor of those things. But again, that's a disagreement. That's not the same as wanting to ruin someone's life like people on the left do. People on the left are fucking crazy, dude. Like, they'll hear something and blow it way out of proportion. Like, they'll hear someone say they want to be harsh on criminals, and then say that person is advocating genocide. They'll hear someone like me say that they don't like transgenderism and say that I want bad things to happen to people, which is not true. It's quite the opposite, actually. So to pretend that these two sides are exactly the same is just retarded. That's why people who are like, I don't like to pick sides. Okay? Well, you're on a side whether you know it or not. Like, and the thing is, I'm not saying you agree with the side you're on, even. I'm just saying whether you stand on the side of freedom or authoritarianism, you're on a side. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's a whole lot of, difference with that. Like, there's not really a middle ground when it comes to authoritarianism and freedom. Now, granted, there arguably is, incremental authority and stuff like that, right? But it's either you believe in objective reality or you don't. You either believe in physical reality for what it is, or you believe perception is reality and that's the only thing that matters. You can have beliefs that go with both of those arguments, but to try and pretend you're completely neutral is just literally impossible. And I hate it when people pretend that they are. And I hate it when people pretend, again, that both sides are equally bad, because that's just objectively not true. Hang on, I gotta relight, because I think this went out. May not have packed it the best this time. That match went out super quick. God damn it. Well, this is red eye raw for you. Warts and all. Alright. But yeah, I used to try and be like that too. Back when I first started about this stuff. Saying how the us versus them mentality was bad and stuff like that. And to a certain degree, it can be. But I do think that we're at a point where we live in two completely different worlds. And that's not saying you can't get along with people who are crazy and don't believe in objective reality. That's not to say you can't get along with people like that. I can get along with almost anyone. But to pretend that they're equal, like in the sense that both sides are equally the same as far as morals, is just not true. One side believes in going out of their way to ruin your life, like I said, get you fired, get you debanked in extreme cases, get you removed from platforms, things like that. Whereas the other side is just like, just leave me the fuck alone. And that's not to say that there's not bad apples on both sides, because there certainly are. There's bad people in any community. But, yeah, that's really the main gist of my argument is I'm tired of people pretending that both sides are equal and, oh, I don't like to pick a side. It's okay, it's good to view things objectively and try not to let your bias get in the way. But to pretend that bias doesn't actually intrinsically exist is just being dishonest with yourself. And again, pretending that they're exactly the same is just not true. Anyway, I've got to get to work. I think I've said my piece. I think this thing's all burned out, so that's going to do it for now. See you guys later. Have a good one. Toodles.